Coming up, the end of the world, maybe. The Mayan calendar comes to an end, but there's no sign yet of the apocalypse. We'll have the full story in just a moment, assuming the world doesn't end in the next 5 minutes. But first, our top story, and it may feel like the end of the world for John Boehner, the House Speaker, forced to cancel plans for a vote on Republican tax and debt proposals. That leaves less than 11 days now until the US falls over the fiscal cliff. Let's get straight at IG market analyst Alistair McKay. Morning to you, Alistair. I mean, we say 10 days, less than 10 days, and you've got Christmas and the New Year in between as well. And we were talking about just a few days to get this sorted now, aren't we?
In reality, the US House members and the Senate will have less than a week, really. It'll be after Christmas, and it will be less than a week for them to reach an agreement. And when you bear in mind the progress they've managed to make in the last 6-7 weeks since President Obama got re-elected, it doesn't bode well for the chances of success. And last night, certainly IG's Dow Future indications got to a low of down 290 points at one point in time. We've calmed down considerably since then, down about 150 at the moment. But, you know, it certainly shows that there's some real negativity towards this.
Sure. I mean, clearly there's a lack of unity on the Republican side as well. I know markets are worried about that. But does this actually matter, given that Obama was going to veto anyway?
To be honest, it's more a sentiment thing than anything else. This kind of shows the willingness that the Republicans had to at least get to the table and negotiate as much as anything else. And, you know, the analogy we'd use here is that the US is driving towards this cliff, and instead of putting their foot on the brake, they've just put their foot straight on the gas.
We had this banking story overnight. The UK Commission into UK banking, they say it's fallen well short of what's required. They want this ring fencing to be a little bit more comprehensive. What do you make of this?
This is quite tricky area where obviously there needs to be an ability for the retail and the investment sides to be segregated, and the liabilities of one not to pass on to the other. However, it'd be fair to say that the UK has already lost its slot as the #1 financial capital of the world, and the Chinese banks are really overtaking the UK-based banks as far as funds under management and control are concerned. And if we aren't careful, we'll find our proportional of this market slip even further.
I can't let you go without talking about 2013, of course. We've talked about the US. Are you more worried about the Eurozone than the US?
Well, I think the first things we're going to look at next year is possibly Spanish government coming in and Mr. Rajoy looking to maybe get a bailout. Probably he's going to try and hang on until maybe the January elections are out of the way, but sometime in the first quarter, probably earlier rather than later. So that might put the euro under a little bit of weakness, not completely surprising. Certainly currency markets could be very interesting next year. The latest Japanese Prime Minister who's come into power has come in on the back of putting his colours firmly to the mast and saying that he's going to be looking to devalue the yen. This really comes on board of a year where we've seen devaluation of currencies of US dollar, euro, UK sterling. Japanese yen will continue. Swiss National Bank continues to peg their currency as well. So the race to zero as far as currencies is concerned will never be stronger. And you've got to imagine the printing presses for money are going to be working at full steam in 2013. OK,
Alistair, thanks a lot. Right, sticking with Japan, details of Japan's new cabinet starting to emerge today. Let's get to Reuters' Lisa Yuriko-Thomas in Singapore. What do we know, Lisa?
Well, the hope is that it'll be better than his first term. According to Reuters, the cabinet looks like it'll be stacked, largely with close allies and a few party rivals in there. But analysts say it looks unlikely that the new cabinet will produce creative structural reforms or tackle deregulation. Some familiar faces include Taro Aso as finance minister and ex-trade minister Akira Amari. They'll be helping Abe with his #1 priority, the economy and fighting deflation. Abe takes office next Wednesday, so stay tuned for more announcements.
All right. While we've got you, there's been another arrest in the Olympus fraud saga. What do we know now?
A former Singapore banker named Chan Ming-Fong was arrested in the U.S. overnight. He's accused of helping to liquidate hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Olympus investments and then hiding it for about 6 years. Court papers say Chan was paid $10 million for his role. The $1.7 billion accounting fraud at Olympus became public last year when then CEO Michael Woodford was fired for questioning some deals. 3 former Olympus executives have pled guilty to fraud and are awaiting sentencing.
OK. Thanks a lot, Lisa. In world news, there is still a world, a mix of relief and disappointment today, depending on your outlook. Some expecting that the end of the Mayan long calendar today would bring about the apocalypse. Thousands of mystics, hippies and spiritualists descending on Mexico to mark the event. Some expect to witness the beginning of the end. Others say it's merely the end of one era and the start of another. French village of Bucarac, also busier than usual. Some mystics gathering there in the belief that UFOs will save them from the apocalypse, but no sightings yet. Do stay with Reuters for all the latest on that, though. That's it for this morning. I'll leave you with an image of one man who isn't concerned about the end of the world. Russian President Vladimir Putin took to the airwaves yesterday in an effort to calm panicky Russians. He says we don't have to worry about the world ending for another 4.5 billion years. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.